Hello, everyone. On behalf of the UWM Alumni Association, I would like to welcome you to today's presentation. My name is Abby Straczynski. I'm an Alumni Engagement Officer at UWM, responsible for student and young alumni programming. In the coming months, you'll be invited to engage with UWM through complimentary career webinars, as well as service opportunities and other fun activities to showcase your Panther pride. Our next web-based career workshop is Demystifying Networking on June 11th, featuring UWM alumnus and career coach David Cooley. David will lead an interactive web-based workshop that will focus on how introverts, extroverts, and all types of people can rethink networking as something much different and more fun than how they've thought of it in the past. We'll email you information for David's workshop after today's presentation. We're excited today to welcome Liz Grever, Customer Success Manager at LinkedIn Chicago. Liz is an alumna of nearby Ripon College, where she studied business management, economics, and Spanish. Liz started her career with Rockwell Automation here in Milwaukee, and she has lived and worked in Berlin, Germany. She has been with LinkedIn Chicago since September 2018. Today, Liz will walk us through how to build strong LinkedIn profile and how to start looking for internships and job opportunities. There will also be time to answer your questions. Take it away, Liz.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abby, for that great intro. And hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for you. All right. So today, like Abby said, we're going to be focusing on how to use LinkedIn. I know a lot of you are newer graduates, so this is really geared towards what to do, how to build your best profile, how to find that next job or internship on LinkedIn's platform. Like Abby mentioned, I am a customer success manager in our LinkedIn Chicago office. I've been with LinkedIn a little over a year and a half. And as a customer success manager, my job is to work with my sales partners and our clients to make sure that whatever products they've purchased, they're using well, educating them on best practices, making sure that they're happy with the product. So enough about me. Let's get into what we're going to cover in today's session. So really, we've broken it down into two major bullets. The first is how do we build our brand and our profile on LinkedIn? And the second is to use that network and help get us hired, get us an internship on the platform. Now, before we jump into this, let's go really back to the basics of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a social media platform, just like Facebook, just like Instagram. So we're going to use it in the way that we would those other social media outlets, but the way we use it's a little bit different. So to understand this, we're going to take donuts, the theme of donuts. So of course you can talk about donuts on Facebook, Snapchat a video of yourself, create a TikTok dance about donuts. You're also allowed to talk about donuts on LinkedIn, but it's just going to be in a different context. It's going to be, I'm looking for a job at a donut company. I'm really passionate about creating donuts. Something that takes that terminology and just makes it a little bit more professional. All right, so we're going to get started on building your profile, making sure that your brand comes through. Before I start this section, I want to make sure that we all know where the chat functionality is on the YouTube live stream. So I'm going to play a little word association game here. I'm going to throw out a brand name, and I'd like you to use the chat panel in the YouTube live link and chat over an answer. So the first brand I'm going to throw out is Nike. So go ahead, chat me over a word or phrase that you think of when you hear the word Nike. Just do it. Athlete. All right, we might be on a little bit of a delay here. Shoes. Exactly. Athletics, Michael Jordan. All right, what about when you hear the word Walmart? What's a word or a phrase when you think of when you hear the word Walmart? Discount, cheap, blue, exactly. Affordable. So just like you were able to quickly think of a word or phrase to describe those brands, we want to have a couple words or phrases that we want people to use when they're talking about us. That's your professional brand. So while we're going through these next couple slides on how to build out a really strong profile on LinkedIn, let's keep those words or phrases in mind and frame our profile in that way. So step one to a great profile is putting a photo on there. We know that profiles that have photos get up to 36 times more messages than profiles that don't have one. So just adding a nice smiling photo. It doesn't need to be a big professional headshot that costs hundreds of dollars. Almost everyone has a smartphone nowadays that has good enough quality. Make sure that you have a blank background and it's a headshot from the shoulders up. We don't really need to see your pets or your friends or your kids. So make sure that it's just of yourself. Step two, and this might not seem that obvious, but it's to add an industry. The reason we ask you to add an industry is because there are recruiters out there that are searching the platform for that perfect internship or job candidate. And one of the most important ways they search and filter their results is by industry. So if you currently have a job or an internship, use the industry that's specific to that current company. If you don't have one, then go ahead and insert the industry that you'd like to work in. Maybe that's hospital and healthcare, maybe it's retail, maybe it's IT. The choice is yours. Now the third step, and this is probably the most important one to learn about today, is the summary or about section. So this is that section that sits right below your photo, right below your title, and this should be your elevator pitch. So we should focus on career aspirations, what we're passionate about, what our experience has been, or what we're looking to do in the future. This should absolutely be written in first person. It should not be a copy of your cover letter. We need it to be a little bit more personal than that. If you are a current student or a newer graduate, you're looking at about 3 or 4 sentences. Something that's long enough where I feel I've had a conversation with you before I've actually met you. If you're a little bit more seasoned of a professional, somewhere around 4 to 6 sentences should do just fine. But again, we want to make sure this is written in first person. The person who's looking at the profile should feel like they're having a conversation with you and really learning about who you are as a professional. This is also a great section to really fill it out with some of those keywords for the job or industry you're looking to get into. Another way that recruiters or bosses will filter their search results is by keyword. So the more that you have in your summary section, the better. And of course, we want to add our work experience. So for this example, medical technician, you'll see on the left-hand side here, the company logo appears. So while you're inserting your work experience, make sure that when you type in the company name, the logo shows up. If you have just a gray box, that means we didn't do it correctly the first time and we just have to redo it. Now, really important here, you don't just want to list out your work experience, you actually want to go in and detail what you did. How did you impact the company? How did you impact your team? Did you work on a major project or initiative? Something to show whoever's looking at your profile that you are different than every other medical technician out there, and that's why they should pick you. If you just have your job title, they have no idea what impacted the company or what type of work you did. And then, of course, with your work experience, you can also add in URLs to kind of enhance your work experience. So maybe you have a personal website that holds your portfolio. Maybe you were interviewed by a local news station or a newspaper. Feel free to link those URLs into your work experience, and it just makes it a little bit more interactive for whoever's looking at it. Remember, this is going to be either the recruiter that works at that future company or your future boss potentially. So we want to make sure that this media that we're linking is appropriate. Another great section, especially as a student or recent graduate, to fill out is the volunteer experience. One, this just gives the interviewer something else to look at other than your work experience. So it's another talking point for them to have. And two, this shows that you're a more well-rounded professional. So you're not just working, you're not just involved in one club at school. With the volunteer experience, we want to make sure that it is a regular commitment that we're listing. If you volunteered for a 2-hour shift in 2017, that is awesome, good for you, but we don't want to list that on our profile. If you volunteered every week or once a month or even once a year when it comes to campus, for example, that's the type of commitment for volunteer experience that we're looking for, not just that one-time shift. And then the last major step is pretty important. So skills and endorsements. This is towards the bottom of your profile, and you can add up to 50 skills. Now, if you're a student or a new graduate, definitely don't add all 50, but we're looking somewhere minimum 10 to 15 skills. Those skills should show who you are as a professional, so have a good mix between soft skills and technical skills. If you are a really good coder, we don't just want to list all of the coding languages. We also want to show that you're organized, you are great at time management, you're a good public speaker. Those are absolutely skills that you should list on your profile if they're true. And again, skills is a really important way that recruiters filter their results. So if you're looking for, let's say, a software engineering role, it is very important that you have whatever language listed as a skill, not just as a word on your profile. More recently, LinkedIn rolled out what we call skill assessments. So you might have noticed that if you've gone onto your profile, but what it is a test that you can take in order to earn a badge next to that particular skill. If you don't pass the test, don't worry, we're not going to tell anyone. You can just retake it again in 3 months. But if you do pass, you're going to get a little badge, and it's going to give you the upper hand to your competition because, again, another filter they can add is that assessment feature. So if you've taken the extra 10, 15 minutes to take that assessment and prove that you're that good at that skill, it's going to help you in the long run. All right, there are tons of other sections on your profile. If you have certifications, awards, if you're part of clubs on campus, absolutely don't forget to put those into your profile as well. But those are the major building blocks to make sure that your profile really stands out on LinkedIn. I'm going to pause here for a minute or two. If you have questions, please shoot them into the YouTube chat. I know we're on a little bit of a delay, but I will take 2 minutes here and answer them if they come up. All right, we've got a few questions that have already come in. First one is from Heather. How important is having a separate website portfolio, or can LinkedIn act as that portfolio? It depends on what type of portfolio you're addressing here, but my recommendation would be to have that separate website URL as your portfolio and simply link that to your LinkedIn profile. Another great question from Nathan. His question is about LinkedIn Premium. So of course, we do offer a premium subscription. And for me, I wouldn't worry about getting premium as a current student. Once you start getting into a really serious job search, or if you need help building skills, building a resume, that's when I would look at getting premium. My two favorite features with the premium account are the extra job analytics that you're able to see when you look at a job. And if we have time here at the end, I'm going to hop into my LinkedIn account and kind of show some of these differences. And the other premium feature would be LinkedIn Learning and a resume builder. So with premium, you have access to all of our learning courses on LinkedIn. So maybe you need help in Excel, maybe you need help with coding or time management. Those are all learning courses available to you if you have the premium subscription. All right, last question I'm going to take here from Robin. And it talks about using different languages to different careers. So maybe you are currently working in one field and looking to switch into another. In that case, what I would do is make sure that you have the keywords in your profile that relate to the industry or job field you want to get into. So for me, I studied business and thought I was going to come out of college as the world's best accountant. I was not at all. So I decided to kind of make a switch to a more client-facing role after a couple of years of finance. So when I started making that switch, I started changing the language of my about section to kind of open the doors for more of those client-facing roles. So I started including customer-focused, strategic. So really pay attention to the words that you're using in your profile. All right. I'm going to hop into the next section here. So we've built our building blocks for our good profile. We're ready to get hired. How the heck are we going to do that on LinkedIn's platform? So the reason that it's important to have a profile on LinkedIn is because we are the world's largest professional network. Does anyone have an idea on how many profiles are on LinkedIn today? Go ahead and use the chat window. Chat me over the number of professionals you think have a profile globally on LinkedIn.com. All right, we've got some guesses here. 2.3 million, 100, 50 million. All right, it's a bit higher. All right, we actually are almost at 700 million members worldwide on our platform. In the US alone, we have almost 170 million members. So this is why it's very important to not only have a profile on LinkedIn, but be active. We need to post, we need to comment, we need to start following people and companies and industries so that we are staying ahead of our competition, we are staying top of mind to our network and growing our connections. On top of that, we're adding almost 2 new members every single second and receiving over 140 million job applications every single month. So while we do have millions of jobs available on the network, we're receiving a lot of applications. So this is why it's very important for you to grow your network, expand your connections, and be active on the platform. And we're going to go over how to do that right now. So the first way is really geared towards students and recent graduates. It's the alumni tool that sits on the UW-Milwaukee LinkedIn page. So just like companies on LinkedIn, most universities or colleges will have a LinkedIn page. And on that page, there's an alumni tab. It's really interactive and it drills down into alumni to really focus on the people you're looking for. And again, I'll show you that when we get into the demo in about 5 minutes here. Once you've found some people you want to connect with, simply send them a connection request with a little note attached. Again, as a recent student or a recent graduate, you have a real upper hand here. Everyone understands that growing your network and your connections is hard. Use that commonality of UW-Milwaukee or where you currently intern or have a job as that commonality. So don't just send a random request, make it a little personal. Hey Liz, saw that you graduated from UW-Milwaukee too, would love to expand my network and connect with you. Really easy to do. And most people are pretty nice on LinkedIn. They will help you out and accept your request. When you're looking for internships or jobs, there's a lot of different ways that we can go about this. Maybe you have a dream company you want to work for. You can go to that company's page and learn a little bit about their culture, about the jobs available, about who currently works there. Maybe you have a specific job in mind. We can run a job search for that specific job title and check out all of the job descriptions and a little bit about the company that holds that job. And this is probably my favorite feature about job searching, and I wish I had known this when I was looking for jobs, but you can actually set up a job alert that will automatically send you an email when a new job pops up with whatever criteria you've selected. So if I'm looking for a project manager job in Chicago, I can set up my search criteria for a full-time job as a project manager in Chicago with a 10-mile radius and get an email every single time a new company posts that particular set of criteria. And then of course, to help you prep for that interview, to make sure that you're staying relevant, we want you to follow companies, follow influencers, industries, whatever you're passionate about, it's probably out there on LinkedIn. So following a few people or companies, making sure that you're staying on top of the news, especially if you're going into an interview how awesome and impressive would it be to that interviewer that you know what happened for that company in the news yesterday, just by seeing that on LinkedIn. All right, I'm going to again take a 2-minute pause here. If you have questions, chat them over. I'm also going to switch over to my LinkedIn account so that we can go through a couple of things that I've talked about in a live demo. Heather, great question. Are there fake jobs posted on LinkedIn? How do we tell if it's legit? Awesome questions. There are jobs that bots will put on LinkedIn. Luckily, we have a kick-ass trust and safety team that's on top of that. So the majority of those bot jobs are removed within the first hour of them being posted. A couple of them sneak through, and I will see if I can find one and show you how we can avoid those. All right. So we are on LinkedIn now. I'm going to hop to my profile to start and show you a couple things here. So if you have a profile, again, to edit it, any section that you want to change, we just have to hit that pencil icon down here. And that's going to help us change whatever section we're looking for. There is a really cool feature. If you are looking for opportunities, you can actually raise your hand and let recruiters or companies know that you're looking actively. So it's in this little gray box here on your profile. We're going to hit the get started. And what I'm able to do is add in job titles I'm looking for. So maybe I really want to become a project manager in Chicago full-time. And this little icon box down here tells me who can see it. I can choose if I only want recruiters to see this. And that's actually also going to exclude any recruiters that work at your current company. So if I go ahead and open myself to new opportunities, no one at LinkedIn would be able to see that. If you want, and you really don't care who sees it, we can access all members and everyone's going to be able to see it. So if we're scrolling down here, again, you can see our experience. We do need a couple details in each of our work experience sections. License and certification. My names, by the way, might look a little bit different. I have to have incognito on for legal reasons. So that's why you'll see some random names here. But when we get down to skills and endorsements, this is what I wanted to point out for the skills assessments. This take skill quiz, most of the assessments that are available are more technical. So a lot of languages, Microsoft Excel, and you can see here that I've actually gone ahead and passed the assessment for Excel. It's given me my little clipboard badge, and when people are searching, they're going to see my profile when they throw in that extra skills assessment filter. All right, so that's it from the profile I wanted to show you. Let's get into the alumni tool. So I'm going to do a search for UW-Milwaukee. Again, just like companies, schools and colleges are going to have their own pages as well. If you're not already following the UW-Milwaukee page, highly recommend following it. But on the left-hand side here, the alumni tab is really what we want to focus on today. So if I click into that, anyone who's linked UW-Milwaukee to their profile on LinkedIn will show up here. So maybe I really want to get a job in, let's just choose software engineering. So I can actually see, if I hit this next button, what they do, what they studied, what they're skilled at, and how am I connected? Are they a first degree connection? Are they a second degree connection? So are they a friend of a friend? Or are they totally random and I don't know them at all? So let me go ahead and choose IT. And I decided I want to live in Minneapolis. So what I'm able to see is the 196 alumni from UW-Milwaukee that currently work in IT and live in the greater Minneapolis area. And we list them right here. So I can connect with them right from here. So we make it really easy for you to find those commonalities. Again, as a current student, as a recent graduate, this is a really, really, really easy way to build your network. Now, similarly, if you have a dream company you want to work for, so let's say Google, everyone wants to work for Google, you can check out their people tab. So a company is going to have a few different options than a school will have. Company pages are going to have this life tab. So if I click on the life tab, I'm going to see everything about the company that they've posted on here. So I'm going to be able to watch a video about careers at Google, look at their mission, see a couple photos. I can see their people. So just like the alumni tab, I can see the current employees at Google. I don't recommend sending a million requests to employees at Google. They're going to know. But if this is your dream company, pick one or two people and send a connection request. Also, every company page will have a jobs tab. So Heather, this is going to help get into some of those jobs questions that you had. So if, again, Google's my dream company, I only want to work at Google, I can create a job alert for Google specifically right from that page. So if I click create job alert here, it's going to send me an email every single time Google posts a new job. It's also going to show me recently posted jobs down here, or I can click see all jobs. Now, on the other hand, if I only know a job title I want to do, but not necessarily what company I want to work for, I can go ahead and click the jobs icon up here. This is going to bring me to a wide open search. So let's keep software engineer. And let's put it in the US to start. So this is going to run through all of the millions of jobs that are on our platform right now and help find us a job. So a couple filters I would automatically throw on there is an experience level. Depending on if you're looking for an internship or entry level, maybe associate. If you're more seasoned, I would start filtering with that. So let's say we're looking for an entry level job. We can also click the all filters button. And I always say, depending on what you're looking for, choose a job type. For me, I'm going to look for a full-time. I can also filter for internships. So that's also a job type that we have available on LinkedIn. And let's say that I really want to live in Seattle. All right. So right now we're looking at about 1,200 software engineer jobs, entry level, full-time in Seattle. That's a lot to sort through. So first thing I would do is create a job alert by switching this toggle. So again, I'm going to get an email notification anytime a new job with that certain criteria is going to send me an email. Now, a couple tricks to know if the job is legitimate or not. First thing I would look at is when it was posted. So you can see here pretty recently, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 6 days, a month. We're getting a little old at about a month. This one's 2 months ago. I would tend to stick to jobs that are posted a month or less. Also, this icon here, this target actively recruiting, that means that, especially with today's COVID environment, these companies are actively recruiting. They're actively posting jobs on LinkedIn. They're actively searching for candidates. So that's a good indication that it's not a job that they're hiring for 2021. They're hiring right now. And another feature I love to filter for is easy apply. So within LinkedIn features, there's an easy apply filter that you can throw on there. And what this is going to do is target jobs that have LinkedIn easy apply, which means you only need your LinkedIn profile and your resume to apply. You don't need to go to the company's website and create an account and fill out all these forms. You only need to do that. So it's really, really easy to apply for those jobs. Now, someone had asked earlier about premium. The reason I say hold off on premium until you're really looking for that first serious job is because a lot of the good content you get with premium is in the job analytics. So let me find one that has a good number of applicants. Let's take this one. So with premium, I'm able to see how I stack up against the other applicants. So starting here, I can see, all right, I'm in the top quarter of the 74 applicants. That's great news. I don't have any of the top skills, not a surprise, not an engineer. I can even compare where they're currently living and give me a look at the companies and how it's hiring trend. If you're noticing that they're gaining more and more employees as the years go on, that's a great sign they're growing. If they're in a decline, maybe hold off on applying. And of course, you can see where their talent came from. So this is where they take most of their employees from. Here are the schools that most of their employees attended. So especially if you see the UW Milwaukee logo here, you have more than likely a connection in common. All right, I am going to answer questions. I know we only have a couple minutes left here. So if you have questions, please feel free to chat them over. I will get to them in the last 5 minutes we have. One last thing I want to show you is posting on LinkedIn. So again, it's really important that we start liking, commenting on others' posts, but we should also probably post ourselves. So easiest way to do that is grab something that you like and choose to share it with your network. So I can just put something as simple as this is inspiring. And then just like on Instagram, just like on Twitter, you can use the @ and hashtag symbol on LinkedIn. and it's going to reach out whoever follows that company or that hashtag. So maybe I include hashtag inspiration. And at LinkedIn. So again, just like on other social media platforms, posting on LinkedIn, really easy, able to use hashtags and at symbols to make our message go further. Really good way to help build your network with people that you have in common. We also have groups on LinkedIn. So like Facebook has groups, LinkedIn has groups. Maybe I'm looking for a customer success manager group. I can chat in the type bar up here, hit the more, and look at groups. So I can join, maybe not these. I don't really need to join a customer success Singapore one, but you can see that there are a lot of different groups here. UW Milwaukee also has an alumni group on LinkedIn. Once you've graduated, highly recommend joining that group as well. All right, got a couple questions filing in here. Lauren, great question. So the degrees of connection are only going to be first, second, and third plus. So that third plus is really going to be anyone that we consider a total stranger to you. You don't have anything in common with them. So that's going to be the category of people you don't have a connection to. Whereas first and second degree, you have a direct connection. Nathan, great question. So Nathan's question is around getting connection requests from people that you have no mutual connections with, you don't really have anything in common. I always say grow your network while you can. So if the person and profile seems legit, go ahead and add them. It doesn't hurt. Maybe in the future that will be a beneficial connection, who knows? But if it seems like a fake profile, if they don't have a profile picture or you see really glaring spelling errors on their profile, that's usually an indication that it's just a bot. But again, our trust and safety team is pretty on it. So highly recommend connecting with those random requests when you get them. All right, keep typing in your questions. Otherwise, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free. More than happy to help you out if we have a connection in common or I have a connection to a particular job you're looking at. I know finding a job as a recent graduate is really hard. So more than happy to help out how I can there. Or if it's just a simple profile review, more than happy to do that as well.
Okay, we're all done. Oops, sorry, Kyle.